working. It's cool. This is another edition of Every Man is a Millionaire. Today we're going to talk about Fat Cat Secrets, how to set up your LLC. Some of the things that you need to do before you fill out your paperwork. We'll be dealing with what you need to set up, what you need to put into play before you file your papers. I get a lot of people who'll ask me, "Hey Glendon, what if I do this?" And you're asking good questions that should come. Well, actually, you're not asking good questions. You're asking questions that reveal to me that you haven't done your homework. You're looking for a quick and immediate solution to a very complex problem. Take your time, plan, and research for your long-term LLC. Your Hustler LLC, you can start that pretty quickly. This would be for eBay, this would be for Craigslist, this would be for whatever short-term hustle that you have going on. But your long-term LLC, which should be a holding company structure and an operating company, that's going to take some time to put together. And I'm not talking about a week or two. I'm talking about to really make your LLC successful, to make your business successful, you got to put in the time and you got to put in the research. And we have so many people who are just like trying to do a Hustler LLC and apply this to your long-term business model, and that's just not going to work. It's not going to work. If this is your first time here, this is Glendon Cameron, your hustling godfather. I have a free gift from you since I am the godfather. Go below and get your free books on how to hustle. Now, don't just download the free books. Actually open them, study them, and more importantly, apply the information to your life. I know there are many of you out there, an extra 300 to 1,000 a month is life-changing. I get that. And I understand that you cannot afford my upper level courses. I totally get that. But starting with this information, this is the information that I started my business with. This is the things that I did. I was a merchant for 10 years, where I had a warehouse. Well, actually I had two storefronts, a warehouse, and then we whittled it down to the warehouse. But I actually did the things that are in those books to make money. Do it. Get yourself in the position where you can afford the courses, because at the end of the day, if you make $1,000 a month extra on top of what you make and you manage your money correctly, check out the last video where I talk about the 5 checking accounts, and you put all this stuff together, your life is going to get better. Your money habits are going to get better. You're going to begin on the path of becoming rich, which you need to become rich before you become wealthy. It's like trying to bench 300 pounds before you can bench 150. You must take it in a sequential order. All right. So let's get into this wonderful bean footage. First step you need to do, and this is going to sound very contrary to what many financial professionals will tell you. They'll just tell you what you want to hear to get your money. You need to sit down and develop a life plan first. Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? Do you like the water? Do you want to live on the beach? Are you a city person? Do you want to live in a condo? What do you really want to do? And I understand some of you don't have a clue because no one's ever said, sit down and decide what type of life that you want to have. It's very possible. I'm a prime example of it. And let's say you kind of have some notion. I'll give you an example. For a minute, I got very seduced by the condo high-rise lifestyle. Checked into a nice hotel, 23rd floor, was able to look all over the city, and I was like, I want this, I like this, I like how this looks, I like how this feels, I like how it tastes, right? And typically I know me, and what I mean is I can get very gassed up on something very quickly, and then that's me in the romantic phase. So I said, okay, G, you know yourself. What you're going to do is rent a high-rise condo in an Airbnb. So I rented. First few days, it was wonderful. Okay. Then I started to notice all of the bad stuff, like 12 minutes to get to my car. If I had a dog, I would have to have some type of situation for that. And it knocked off the shine of wanting that situation permanently. Because I was getting ready to get a high-rise condo. I was like, you know what? So I rented an Airbnb 4 more times. Because the first time it's like, kind of like a date. Then by the fourth time, I was tired of it. I was like, this is not really what I want. It's what I thought that I wanted, but it's really not what I wanted. So I adjusted my expectations accordingly. And every now and then when I get that itch, I'll rent an Airbnb, get it out my system, because it's not a long-term want. And figuring out what kind of life you want, you got to do this stuff. It's going to take time, because there are many of you out there who have these wonderful romantic visions of the type of life you want, where you want to live, what kind of car you want, and you have not experienced it. So you could get it and in short order realize you didn't really want that. So I just gave you a developmental process to figure out what type of life you want to live. I recently went out to California. Once again, man, it's cool out here. I love the weather. And I went through the process. So I'm going to rent an Airbnb, nice place, feel it out, and be near the beach, because you got to do your homework before you commit. And many of you are committing to trash dreams without doing no homework. And then when you get these dreams, you're kind of like, yeah, it looks good. It's kind of like the guy that is dating a trash chick that happens to be hot. When they're out in public, she looks great. She's good on your arm. She speaks well. But personally, she's a savage. She's sloppy. She's nasty. She can't show up on time. There's just so many things that's wrong. So essentially, you're trading 90% of your happiness for that 10% visual representation. And this is how people build companies and become dope addicts and become crack addicts and commit suicide, because, yeah, they're building this stuff, but it may not jive with what they want in their heart. And then they got all of this stuff from the outside looking in like, man, your life's amazing. You should be happy. You should be grateful, when they're miserable inside, because they built a business that's like a job they hate. You, my good people, have the ability to build a business that you love. So this is where you're going to have to put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and put your stake in the ground and say, this is what I want to do, and not really care about what anyone else thinks. I'll give you a great example of this. I love what I do here on Every Man is a Millionaire, and I really love what I do on Disruptive Mail. I'm in a group, and I was trying to be helpful. This happened today. And I posted what I made from Disruptive Mail this year in 6 months, which is like 15 grand. Not a big deal, right? So I thought, and in the group, you're not supposed to self-promote. So I hid all of the information to the channels. Well, these fools go ahead and they start poking around, and this trick, like, he sells pornography. No, I don't. I don't sell pornography. And she went on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just sitting here like, so I flexed and stunned it. I said, look, and then people accuse me of bragging. Once again, 15 grand in 6 months. Accuse me of bragging. So this should tell you how much money they're not making. So I went ahead and stunned it. Screenshot what I made on this channel. Then I, almost put some checks from consulting clients in there. Many people are not living well. Many people aren't. And I was trying to be helpful, because none of those people in that group are part of my demographic. So part of this notion of setting up businesses is many of you are trying to set up a business and trying to be helpful to people who will not respect you. I put up a post on Facebook. It's like, it's funny how many people want to be respected while they're being disrespectful. She was insulting. She miscategorized my business, and she said some stuff because she just took a cursory glance and was like, ah, this is what it is. I'm going to go off. Part of building a business that you love is not thinking, caring what people think, because this channel that this chick thought was pornographic, I've got at this point a few hundred testimonials of people was like, man, this channel's changed my life. This channel's helpful. But if I was to be a weak-minded person and go off of what a few people have said, the channel wouldn't be what it is. And this is creating a business that you love, that fulfills you. Because this is just one clown over here in the peanut gallery who's jelly because I made 15K in 6 months. When I put the screenshots of what I made per year, it became this whole thing. And it was like, look, if I was going to brag, this is what I would have put up. This is trying to be helpful. And you got to understand, when you become a business owner, long-term business owner, you're going to have many challenges. You're going to have many ups and downs because of people who have not gone out and got their dreams done. You're going to have these experiences because you're dealing with people who are less than, not because you've made it that way. It's because they refuse to put a stick in the ground and say, this is what I want to do. This is the key. Making that decision to create a business that you love, that fulfills you, that makes you happy. This is the way you don't become rich and then become a crackhead because you're so unhappy. So this is why you must get into the research phase for your long-term LLC. And once again, I have videos. And matter of fact, this will be part of a playlist. Just go through the playlist. And I think the next thing is going to be how to set up an operating company. And just go through the playlist about 5 or 6 times and you'll get it. Because what's the use of having money if you're not happy? That makes no sense. And there are 1,000,001 ways for you to make money. You may have the talent to make these killer surfboards and create a multi-million-dollar company per year. Have your company set up near a beach so you can test your surfboards and surf every day. These are choices and decisions. They're not luck. You didn't luck into, many people said, someone tried to throw shade on me, and I was like, because my success with my first book, and I was like, was it luck that I created a business and ran it successfully for 10 years? And I asked this person this, and he said, no. I was like, all right, so how's it luck that I made money? Because I wouldn't have had the experience and the knowledge to write the book unless I did that. And he actually said, okay, you've made a very good point. I was just like, wow, I thought this was going to be a hater fest. But part of the reason that so many people hate, and also let me just tell you, you're going to be hated because you're happy and successful. You're going to be hated. Just get your, and I'm going to tell you, it's worth it. Don't worry about it. There's some of you that will not do what you need to do in your life because you're worried about what other people think. Forget Sam from the Peanut Gallery. Forget Shaggy ZZ with the Slee Stack avatar. These are what I call nameless and faceless cowards. Nameless and faceless cowards. They're demo people because they don't know how to build their business. They don't know how to be happy. They don't know how to structure anything. So what they're going to do is try to insult you because you made a choice, my good person. You made a decision to live life on your terms. And this is how you set up properly an LLC, because you do all of this back work, research, experimentation, so you know that what you're working on it fulfills your heart. It makes you happy. Like, I don't know how many of y'all saw the game last night with Alabama beat Georgia, and Jalen Hurts came out and was the man. This guy went through all kinds of stuff. People said he should transfer, but they didn't understand the backstory. Nick Saban went out and hired a quarterback coach exclusively for him. I want you to think about this. They spent 500 to $1 million to get a coach for him. And last night, it showed up. That was a different cat throwing that ball last night. He was throwing that rock like a pro. So from the outside, Jalen, you should leave. Jalen, you should do this. You should do this. They made a huge financial investment in Jalen when he was sitting on the bench most of the season. This is the kind of stuff that you don't hear about when people from the peanut gallery are saying you should do this. And I don't think Jalen's going to transfer. I don't think so, because what he did last night, his NFL stock quadrupled. You ain't really played. You come out. You ball out for your team. I mean, just check out the story, man, what he went through. But look at what the commitment that Nick Saban made to him. He said, look, you ain't going to play, but I'm going to get you a quarterback coach, and I'm going to make you better to fill in those deficiencies because you are one hell of a player. And Nick Saban kept his deal. And Jalen kept his deal. And this is how remarkable things happen, but they don't happen fast. And this is why many of you are upset and depressed, because you're expecting something that's going to take 3 to 5 years to happen in a few months. But if you take the time, number one, get your Hustlers LLC. Then also get your holding company first. Get your Hustlers LLC. Then get you another company that can be your long-term business model. So what we're doing is kind of like 5-dimension chess. Give you another example, and be sure to go check out the speed dating video at Disruptive Mail. Many people don't press themselves. They don't push themselves. So I'm not going to get into it. You can watch the video. But because I made just a little tweak, the results were exponential. And you can do these things too by actually digging into yourself, working on yourself, making better decisions, and then practicing delayed gratification. This will be one of your best decisions in life, that if you can do this. All right, so this is the prep work. This is what you should do. You should have your holding company. You should have your Hustlers LLC. Then over here, you should have your long-term business model. And I was looking at one of the houses that I passed. I couldn't see. I looked it up, and it was just a gate. There's a brother that lives there. I'm gonna probably post the information. And this brother has 5 businesses. 5. And lives in a $5 million house in an estate. Oh, excuse me, $5 million mansion on an estate with a long driveway. Once again, there are some people who are seeing this and they're like, one guy's like, oh, I know a judge. Judges, unless they got that long money and they come from a wealthy family, they ain't living over there. Judges don't make that kind of loot. So what I'm trying to do is break the misconceptions and give you the truth so you can make better decisions. All right. So this looks to be going very well. I have to be careful. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. What's up, King Nick? Excalibur. Anthony Wright, Lucid Dreamer, Reigning Woman. The Aloha. Life for a Business by the Course. Once again, this one answer to one question is not going to help you. You need the whole process to make better decisions. What's up, Pamela Turner? What's up, Jigga 1017? What's up, Comfort Zone Studios? What's up, Ron Fisher? Anthony Wright, and let's talk about this. The key to wholesaling, and you got to look at like 100 houses. you got to treat it like a full-time job. Because everyone that I know in real estate that's working real estate that way, they work a lot. Dirty, dirty DFW. What's up? All right. Let's see. What's up, Edward Anderson? I mean, seriously, man. No, I actually shut that down. I know, Edward. What's up, Paul Laterna? Oh, I actually, haters are like success vitamins to me. Oh, Edward, you saw that post? Yeah, I was just like, that was just like, where did this come from? These. Thank you, Beyond the Turn. Anthony Wright has a system. I guarantee you. Zos, remember the law of attraction. Money is just energy. You want it to think positive, go make it happen. Pretty much. Pretty much. Camilla, that's how you know you're right. Track what when you have haters. Oh man, they've been coming out the woodwork. All right, Ganja. Charlton, let's talk about this. Because of the law that you cannot sell any financial, you cannot use text notification for any financial or sexual or something that's sexual, even though the stuff isn't sexual, it presents like this. So I have a problem with creating another, because like this stream right here where I'm talking about um, doing the work for your host for your LLC. This would be constituted as financial, and you can't do it. So we're gonna have to work on the email list because this is crazy. Paula, yeah, that was a great game. Jalen showed out. Mary Louise Gaines, do what's in your heart and ignore the dream snatchers. I found that others do not want to put in the work in research and building the business. Absolutely. And that's what makes you successful because I put up here and I did a case study of Into the Gloss and Glossier, right? And people like, okay, I don't want to look at that. I mean, it's a template of what you can do, but the thing that people don't want to understand is Emily Weiss worked on her blog for 3 years with no money. No money coming in for 3 years. And they were like, whoa, that's too long. But see, here's the thing. If you're 20 some and you're 30 some, you have your hustle over here, you have your long term business model over here. Because the thing is, you got to do both. It's not just enough to do one thing anymore because the competition is just too intense. But 10 years of your life in the right direction can make you a multimillionaire. And this is why I really press on you young guys who are you're 17, 18, 20. Do that now. So when you're still 30 some, you're a millionaire, you got assets, you got property, you good. What's up, Derek? I know, Camilla. Consistency is important. What's up? Let's see. What's up, everybody? Mary Lou's game. Yes, others get mad because you don't want to be a 9 to 5 clocker and you invest time and money and sacrifice to manifest your business into reality as a solid foundation. pretty much haters gonna hate. Paula Turner, what's your take on on the recession that's coming, and will it affect real estate? Number one, the recession is already here, and it's already impacted real estate. Real estate across the board is depressed, and pricing is down. I've been in this house, I think 3 months, and every house, 80% of the houses that I looked at are still on the market, or and 90. Let's see, yeah, about 85% of the houses still in the market, and many of them have reduced prices, and a lot of them have become rentals. What's up, Mentor Sherry? Darren Walker used the Google machine. You can start a company in any state, any city. Once again, it's not where you set it up. It's how you set it up and how much energy you invest into your hustle and into your business. That's going to be the difference. Because this cat that with the $1 million house, he's got businesses here in Florida. He got businesses everywhere. Edward Anderson, it's because you a black man winning. That's why. That was very strange in the group because I really hid my stuff, but I want to say this, and part of what happened to me my first 3 years here on YouTube, a lot of that stuff started to happen, and I will admit it was because I was black. So my definition, my purpose, my mission became to beat them. And not only did I beat them, I'm one of the few people who's still doing videos from that era. They've all quit or their channels are garbage. See, I don't say that I'm superior. I show that I'm superior. And that does tend to rankle a lot of feathers. What's up, Johnny Walton? The official Sean Jones. I like that name. And you show your picture. Here's something else too. Typically, most people who are haters or demo people on YouTube, they have some weird screen name and they never show their face. That's a sign of low self-esteem. So the official Sean Jones, he got this boss name and he's got his real picture there. That tells me a lot about the official Sean Jones. I'm 24 and have built one e-com store making $50K a year. The goal is to build 4 more and run them full time by the time I'm 30. Dude, you're going to be doing that. You keep on. And also, let's talk about this. We've talked about how much money people make in this country. He makes more money than 60% of the people in the country at 24. And you keep doing what you're doing. And you get your because one, you have goals. And you making 200K by the time you're 30. That's boss land. And it's, this is the thing. The official Sean Jones. You've already made the 50 doing e-com, so you can do 200K. Because if you could do 50K, you could do 200K. And if you could do 200K, you could do 500K. And if you could do 500K, you could do 750K. And if you could do 750, you can do $1 million. Mentally, the biggest threshold is believing in yourself to the point to take action. And since you've already seen that this is real, you can take a lot of action. So congratulations. Since reality competition is fierce, people labor will become cheap. Oh, very cheap. Yeah, real estate slowing down across the country, man. Edward. Anthony, preach it, big brother. Recession has started. When the rich start holding cash, you know hard times is coming. This is what I'm thinking. I'm probably going to get my first property 6 or 8 months from now because I think, and this is timing because typically the real estate market is usually on fire during the summer. So I may skip the summer and go in the fall just to see because prices across the board are falling. And houses are sitting on the market, and builders are doing crazy stuff to move new product. Cool breeze, he will. All right, everyone. Yeah, I believe the cycle is coming to buy is because you buy when it's low and you sell when it's high. And we're about to go for, I believe, the next 2 to 3 years, a low cycle. And you stack up because I actually saw this happen 2011. There was a house in my neighborhood, good house, a 4 bedroom, 2 car garage, sitting on an acre. That sucker was $250,000. I checked it recently. That house is 600,000. And well, actually, I checked it 3 years after it sold, and the house was like 550, and now it's like 600,000. Buy when it's low, and this is why you got to have your credit straight, and this is why you got to have money. Jigga, Muhammad had a stroke, man. He's recovering. I know, Edward. A lot of people believe the internet's just for cat pictures and funny memes. Let's see. Edward Anderson, I know a dude that's been doing consultations for free, and the info he has is fire. I was like, my dude. See, a lot of people get on that help thing, man. All right, I thank you, the official Sean Jones. I appreciate that. You've been listening to me for 6 years, which means he started at 18. That's the juice. If you could start at 18, all of the setbacks and failures, you will get so good and so strong by the time you're 22. Once again, congratulations, man. Sure thing, Edwards. Sachi, the top investment banks is suggesting their clients holding on to cash. Yeah, man. I mean, we're here. All right, let me show that. All right. There's a lot of stuff that is going on around the world in terms of setting these things up because one of the things that the internet helped me do is create an international business. Now, most of the product that I sell now is domestic, but there were various phases where I had clients literally around the world. And without the internet and without YouTube, that wouldn't have been possible. So it gave me a global perspective, and you can start a business selling a product to anyone, any place, anytime. And there are many folks who still don't believe in the internet. They don't know how it works. So there's a lot of opportunity out here for folks who are willing to do the work. I know. I mean, once again, a lot of and Edward, I'm gonna read this. Glendon, he did 300 consultations, and these people are begging him for the info, even needing to say what it was. The point is, the people are constantly asking you clearly you have something. Absolutely. Now, I don't know this individual, but there are many people who have a problem with success. They don't want, because success inherently means more responsibility. And a lot of people just want to do what they want to do. And I don't know this dude, so I can't say if that's his thing, but it sounds like his thing because the people who don't have money will hate on you so hard that many people who have good information will not charge for it because they don't want to be talked about. I'm serious. This is a thing in the internet community. Oh man, Anthony, I really appreciate you. We're at the point where this channel is 9 years old, And there's a lot of guys who bought into the concepts years ago who are now beginning to be in a position to show receipts. And this is the thing. And this should tell you that you need to get started as soon as you can, because the reality is, I believe anyone can become a millionaire. But you're looking at 6 years if you're exceptional, and you're looking at 20 years if you're average. What's going to happen is, before you get to millionaire status, you're going to have a very high income. You're going to have an income so high that you can live off a part of it, take most of the income and put it back in the business and grow it faster. But the timelines, this is what's got people twisted. The timelines. People are like, man, that's too long. Sally Mae Jones used to tell me, if you live long enough, you're going to become old. And if you look at the stats, many people are living to be 84. Former President George Bush, he was 94 when he died the other day. What's going to happen is wealthier people are going to have exceptionally long lifespans. We're going to see people reach 110, 115, and 120, and they're going to be in good health at maybe 110 before they start falling apart. This is what I'm seeing. And because of my neighborhood, these people have means. This one lady, she was walking, and I was looking at her, and I was something just said, because I was passing, I said, I know it's a strange question, but how old are you? She says, I'm 84, and just smiled, because she didn't look like she was 84, and she was zooming. She looked to be 50-something. 50-something, late 40s. Because she had resources to get proper food, proper exercises. Do something, do a search wherever you are on houses that are maybe $500 to $1 million, and you'll see that every house has an exercise room. Every house I looked at had an exercise room. Because the stats are lifting weights, working out, you live longer. And people with money want to live longer. Everyone want to live longer. I know, Sauchin. Also, only a small percentage of people would execute on sound knowledge. Pretty much. Thanks for the $5 super chat, Erica. Success does mean more responsibility. Facts is, it takes 2 to 5 years for real. People will fight you. Once again, Erica, this is why I'm telling the people the right information, because if you adjust your timelines and go like, okay, this is my first year in business, and you ain't balling out, that's normal. Very few people ball out before the 7-year mark. And these are usually exceptional, and then average people 10, 15, 20 years. But here is the thing. You get there. You get there. When you just once you start making $200K a year, you are making more money than 98% people in the country. I think 170. That's more money than 99% of the people in this country make. And at that point, with the 5 checking accounts, a budget, you have enough economic firepower, extra bullets to aim into a wealth channel to get rich. And then once you get rich, then you can become wealthy. The official Sean Jones, you made me realize that the internet businesses are real that operate on the internet, not make believe. There's a lot of people who think this stuff is fantasy. You going to the gym tomorrow? That's wild. That is wild. Okay, so below is the specials. Go ahead and get them. Be sure to get your free books. Use them. And if you want to be part of H Undergrad, get H Undergrad Redux. It will include the art of holding, but at the end. because I realized that this is just too much for folks who don't already have a business. Amazon is a damn internet business. Netflix. I know, man, but people are coming along. People are coming along. All right. So once again, those are the specials that are below the video, and I will see you guys later. Welcome to Hustlers Kung Fu, all about making that money without a job. Tonight, we're going to talk about fat cat secrets and how LLCs make you bank and stuff your lawyer will never tell you. Let me just go ahead and tell you what got me here. I was reading this article on the internet, and it was just like, I couldn't believe this. Essentially, this person, I'm looking at the article right now, had a business for 2 years, e-commerce, and they ran into a snag and someone asked him for an EIN. 2 years, they didn't have an EIN. Something they could have got for free if they had the right information, and the lack of that EIN created a huge, huge problem. So with that and some other stuff that I got in my inbox, people are like, hey, the LLC legal structure is a tool. It by itself, without strategy, does not make money. It's like YouTube. Everybody can use YouTube. Everybody can create a channel, but more and more people are creating channels and they're not getting any views. The strategy is the reason you'll make money, anything that you do, including with an LLC. So with that said, and this is for the people who watch this live stream right now, there is a beta course titled Fat Cat Secrets, How LLCs Make You Bank and Shit Your Lawyer Will Not Tell You. That offer, $100, beta, there's nothing there. There'll be something tomorrow, is in play for the next 24 hours. So jump on that because it's going to get way more expensive, because I want you to think of it like this. In terms of an LLC, it is a device that properly structured, properly set up will save you so much money, headaches, time, and protect your money if you do it right. I'm going to tell you a few examples. I'm going to give you a few examples of what I know, and I'm going to give you the overarching deal of why you need to do this. The other day, that offer is below the video. Just click on that link, you'll be good to go. I was talking to a client who has been in business 7 years, hustling really hard, right? And no LLC, no business checking account. And they finally hit that critical mass of $100,000, and they were starting to make so much money that they were starting to have problems. And we spent 3 hours on the phone because there were so many things. Because see, this is things, all these tax deductions and things that you can have, they don't last forever. Like the Internal Revenue Service can come after your ass forever, but these deductions and things, you've got a window that you got to take these things or they're gone forever. So we were able to save some stuff, but just crazy. So, and I was talking to another client and we were going through similar things, not as deep because this client already has LLCs, but we're going to do that. So with this course, I'm going to walk you through the intricate details, because tonight I'll be giving you overviews. I'll be pointing you in the right direction. I'll give you valuable information that you can use to make something happen, but the strategy is the most important thing. So I'm going to give you an example of how LLCs have helped me. Years and years ago, I used to be racially profiled in DeKalb County. My partner and I, it became a running joke. I would come down Lawrenceville Highway, and for some reason, I'll just get stopped. It was always something. And then I went ahead and put the company vehicle, which was in my name at that time. I just went ahead, sold it to the company, put it in the corporate LLC, and all of a sudden, I stopped getting stopped. Message, because this is the thing. Cops run your tags. This happens. Ask a cop. If you got a friend who's a cop, he'll tell you. So by putting that van, which, you know, it was in my name, I was always getting stopped. By putting in an LLC, same van, same driving behavior, I didn't get stopped until it died. Never got stopped again. Pretty interesting, huh? So that's one way that an LLC shielded me from bullshit. So here's another way. We had an issue years and years ago with eBay. Client bought a lot of office furniture, it's like 20,000. I would not take 20,000 through PayPal. I was like, look, I'll take a deposit. So $2,000 deposit through PayPal, and the rest was a check. And they didn't get the furniture till the check cleared. Well, they got the furniture, everything was good. Then for some reason, dude did a chargeback on that, said, you know, furniture was not as described. Never talked to me, nothing. And that PayPal account, it went away because that was the last strike on it. But that PayPal account was in the LLC. And it had its own EIN number that wasn't attached to my social. So we just went with the other eBay ID and kept on trucking. So there was another example of an LLC saving my ass, or our ass, because we were both making money from that. Then another thing that happened, I was on the other end of a lawsuit, and that's one of the reasons Conundrum Publishing went away. Somebody said I did some stuff that I didn't do, but they came after Conundrum Publishing, and they came after everything that was in Conundrum Publishing. But what they didn't know was Conundrum Publishing was a holding company. There were no assets. There was nothing attached to it. They won. They got nothing. And I was like, I walked away. If you could have saw that dude's face, he was so upset. He was so upset. But a lot of this stuff was layered in, you know, it's like you watch a Law and Order, or you watch one of these shows where it's like, hey, you know, we went over here for this, and it was this shell corporation, it was this shell corporation, and we went to this, and this shell corporation went to another shell corporation, went to another. And it was kind of like that, because dude was like, he's on the internet, this is what he talks about. And the judge was like, this is what you sued, and these are the assets of this company, and you win. And that was it. Couldn't sue me. My name couldn't sue me. He was really, really upset. So that's 1, 2, 3 ways that LLCs protected me and saved me, because once again, these are devices. As the president-elect says, I just use the system like everyone else. This is why I'm saying, if you got the right mindset, if you got the right mindset, these can be some very profitable years. Let's see what we got in the chat room. We got a few people. Shalise, what's up? No, it's $100 beta right now. You go ahead and get it. You're good. That's going to be a standalone course. That's not going to be a monthly course. Melissa V, I did sole proprietor when I had the hot dog stand, but I did not own property or anything at that time. Now I would think I have to do an LLC. Well, you could do an LLC with that hot dog stand. And there's a lot of things that you could have did that. Because see, the sole proprietor is cool if you don't do shit where you can get sued. Like this person who didn't use the EIN, he had to use someone else's EIN. Shit went funky. The person that he used their EIN went after them, and it became this huge, huge clusterfuck. Simply because he didn't have his own stuff. Thomas J. Are Nevada courts the best? Delaware? All right, here's a little secret. You hear that stuff, hustler porn or internet urban legends, okay? This is the thing. If you get an LLC in Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming, New Mexico, Wyoming and New Mexico, they don't care who owns it. You don't have to tell them who are the officers. You can just file that corporation, right? So that's cool. But see, if you have that corporation in Delaware, Wyoming, Nevada, then you go to Texas and try to do business, the state of Texas or the bank in Texas that you're trying to sign for your bank account, they're going to say, we can't do this unless you file as a foreign LLC, which means all of that hoodery, trickery goes out the window. So you can file and do those corporations, but once you try to open up a checking account to do business, register property and other things, it goes away. So there's really no point in you registering in those states unless you've got a very sophisticated plan and some money. So they don't really work. Zid Sir, can you get a new IN if your PayPal gets banned? Is that what you did? No. And that'll be in the course. So if you want to know that information, just go ahead and buy that. Let's see. Melissa V, I had an EIN, but all that stuff is so confusing still to me. It can be, because it's very boring to read all the rules and regulations. Jeff Emma just filed an LLC in New Jersey. Referrals is incorporation better. Depends upon your situation. See, this is the thing. And I want y'all to really understand. There is no one answer solves everything. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. Like, let's talk about Referrals incorporation. Why would someone do an incorporation, which is Inc., which means you have to file with the state, you have to publish a notice of your intent, you have to have your articles of incorporation together, officers, all that good stuff, right? If you are building a company that you would want to sell shares in, a lot of people don't know this, you can sell shares in your company outside of the SEC if all of the shareholders are in the state that you form your corporation. Up to 500. A lot of people don't know that. But see, the thing is it gets to be, you still have to go get an attorney and some other stuff because you got to do shares. There has to be accounting. This is not something that I would advise you to do on your own, but you can do it. So let's say you do an incorporation in the state of, let's say, Alaska, and you find 500 people in Alaska. Now check this, because these things change all the time. This is the way that I understood it. Let me be clear. Check this. Do not run wild off into the woods setting this stuff up, because this is the deal. It could change. It could be the same, but this is the last time I looked at it. 500 members. The number could go up or go down, but they all have to be in the same state. So Alaska, you find 500 people and you sell them shares, probably friends and family, whatnot. And each share you can, and this is the thing with shares, you can price them any way you want. If you want the shares to be $1,000, they can be $1,000. That's all up to you and what people are willing to pay for your incorporation. So let's say 500 people times 1,000, and that's $500,000. But minus about 50 to 70K in legal fees, and then that's what you have. Because like I said, don't do this on your own. It's way complicated. Let's see. Thomas J, what if the Nevada court was the holding company, then you still have one of the state to do your day-to-day business? Okay, if those two companies communicate financially, and let's just say there is a way to do that, and I'm not going to put it on YouTube because it's borderline money laundering, and I'm not leading you down that path. There's a way to do it, but if you do it wrong, things could go bad. So let's see. Bob Rucker. Hi, everyone. Big hi. Thank you, Glendon. I'm in my wife's recovery room at Emory Hospital. Whoa, she just had major brain surgery. As the owner of my own company, I have the time and the finances to take care of it. Man, speedy recovery to your wife. That's got to be crazy. Thomas J, is that private placement? No. Let's see. Go deeper with that, Bob. It all started with Glendon's video. What are you talking about? Morning Blue GC, what resources do you recommend to read to get brought up to speed on all this? I know the hustler porn guys don't talk about any of this. Okay, go to your state's Secretary of State. That's where all of the LLC and corporations, they'll give you all the information, because this stuff varies from state to state, and read what they want you to do. That'll be the first place. Then you will go down other rabbit holes. Bob Rucker, you forced me to stop making excuses and get off my ass and hustle. 3 years in, I can't thank you enough, bro. Wow, man, that's amazing. I know it's off topic, but this dude changed my life. Let's see. You know what? I got to do this. Hold on. Where? Let's, come on. I hate that it's only so short. I'm screenshotting that. Appreciate it, Bob. I'm glad. I hope your wife has a speedy recovery. Melissa V, if I say did one company resell and one renting flea market spaces, do they should be their own LLC even if they're the same land? No, it all should be the same thing, because unless you're making really big money in each one, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm really like tripping on this Bob thing. Like, that's just wild. What's up, Armani? Web Video Chiefs. That is wild, Bob. You know, like I said, speedy recovery to your wife. That's some scary stuff. But yeah, the whole trickery and stuff on the LLCs and doing one state, the minute that you try to do something financial, like let's say you go to a landlord and you want to rent a building, and they're going to check your financials, they're going to ask certain things, and if all your stuff's in another state, depending upon if it's a professionally managed property, that could be a huge problem. They may say, look, you need to do a foreign domain, get a checking account here. They may not give a shit. They may not care. They may just like, hey, you clean, your credit score is good enough, we'll take your money. But just depends, because when I had a client who tried to do a real estate deal, and you know, $1 million in the bank, but because their LLC and all this other stuff wasn't set up and they had no business credit, they didn't do the deal. They were just like, we can't do this. And I know he was like, I don't understand. And see, this is the thing with business. And this is something I learned from my landlord, who had his buildings, or I should say the buildings of his kids, because the buildings were in a trust for his kids. That's what I made my check out to, the blah, blah, blah trust every month. And I talked to him about this stuff. And, you know, just so many things, because some of the buildings were empty. And he said, we just use those empty buildings to offset the profits of the buildings that are occupied. That's why we have the rent so high. So potentially on paper, rent's 10 G's a month. It goes in unoccupied for 2 years. That's $240,000 they get to write against the profitable ones. And that's why, you know, if you've ever been in business, you've been trying to talk to landlords and stuff, and just some of them just like, no, I'm not renting to you. If you ain't paying that, there's a reason they're not going to negotiate, because they would lose money by renting to you for a discount because of the way that their whole stuff is set up, the way their LLCs are set up, the way that their CPA and attorney has all of their stuff set up. This is just, it's crazy, because from a rational standpoint, you're sitting there like, okay, building's empty, not making any money. I'm offering this dude money, but he won't take it, because even though it's empty and not making any money, the discounted rate that I want to give him is going to upset his financial apple cart. And this is the power of LLCs, corporations, and trust, where you're not really losing money, but because it's on paper, it's documented, paper losses, net losses, you can make $1 million, but because you over here looks like you lost $1 million, you pay no federal taxes. And that's how the game is played. But you've got to be structured. You've got to have all that stuff set up. You just can't like, oh, I did. No. That ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So all this stuff has to be very, very structured. So that's kind of the gist of it. And that's why I'm such a big proponent on it, because someone was asking me, this little topic, have you ever done 1031 exchanges? No, I've never done those. Typically, I keep my stuff pretty simple. Let's see. Fatima J. Hey, Glendon, what about those in Canada? We don't have LLCs. What do you suggest the best thing for us? To my Canadian folks and to my folks in Mexico, you're going to have to check out what Canada and Mexico has. I have no expertise in Canada. I don't know how that stuff works. And I don't know. I think as a Canadian citizen, you can have stuff here, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how that works, because if you're a Canadian citizen and you don't have a social security number, I don't really know how that would work. Also, the LLC is going to have a physical address, or it's going to have a registered agent that's in the US. So talk to some Canadian people on that one. I can't help you. So Melissa V, yeah, that's the part I got to say for your classes. What exactly you're talking about. Now, here's another way that an LLC helped me. And this is some I learned from being like this. I used to work for this company. It was one of the second to last job I had, or something like that. It was one of the final jobs. And the guy who was the managing partner who came in to work with us every day, he was one of the owners, but he got a check like we did every 2 weeks. And Warren comes in one day and his cubicle is next to mine. And I'm just like this. Tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah. So Warren was just talking about his structure. So this is how his deal went. He was in the LLC, but he, in the operating agreement, it was a managing partner, and they had his salary and stuff, because his salary never went up. His salary never changed. The whole time he was there, it never changed. And he got his other income in quarterly installments called dividends, which means he only paid capital gains taxes on that money. Because I was just like, one day he comes over with a brand new car and he said, yeah, and it was shortly after he got his dividend. So every 3 months he got a big ass check. And that's how that works. And he, even though he was an owner of the company, due to the way that it was set up in the operating agreement and all this other stuff, he got a check. So he was also an employee of the company, like we were. It was a beautiful thing, because I was just sitting there like, how the hell? What? And I went ahead and I looked it up, because you can go online and look at people's corporations and stuff. And I was just like, mind blown. Mind blown. Oh, all of the state crap is confusing. Well, you probably want to jump on this deal. This is beta. Right now, what does beta mean? There's nothing there. This is a pre-sale. And essentially, I'm going to take you through some things that, like, what should you ask yourself? What should you put in your articles of incorporation? Why you should have an operating agreement? Why you should file this form or that form to prevent your LLC from being taxed as a single member entity, where you'll pay like 55% tax. So things like that will be in the course. So there's a lot of ways that you can skin this. And the thing is, let's go to President-elect Trump. It's going to be wild, because let's look at his kids, and we're not going to get political. We're going to stay 100% business. You better believe all of his kids' names are on those LLCs and trusts and stuff, LLCs as officers. And you better believe there's not one trust, there's probably a trust for each kid. Now, what does this mean? Let's say the trust is formatted, right? And something crazy happens. Like, I know a guy, everyone knows a guy, right? But I know a guy who had a trust fund, got married, had kids. And the way his trust fund was set up, he didn't have to pay child support. I know you're going like, what? Things that happen before other things that happen take precedent over future things. So his ex-wife couldn't get any of his money, and it was like 30 G's a month. She couldn't get any because of the way that the trust was written. Now, he chose to give her some money, and then when she started acting like crazy, he's like, oh, we're done. This is the power of this stuff. This is why I talk this stuff. I know people going like, what? Yes, that can be done. I also want to just pay for a unit to sell out. The last few years, I was making pennies selling from my house. Your Venmo's got me up to this step. Cool.
Erica Wilson, I know it's a little off topic. I heard you mention that you always use credit cards. What are some of the benefits of using credit cards instead of bank debit cards? All right, well, this is kind of part of it, because part of the Fat Cat course is how to get business credit, because I'm a firm believer in you need the proper structure to get business credit. You can do it off an EIN, but it ain't the same. Benefits. All right, I am of the school of Clark Howard. If you don't know who that is, he's got a radio show, Consumer Advocate, and you do shit with your debit cards. I'll give you an example of something that happened to me recently. Do I even have it on me? I was drawing cash using a debit card. I only draw cash for the banks using debit cards. And somehow the machine screwed up and I didn't get the money. And it gave me a receipt and it said, you didn't get the money. And I was like, okay, cool. So I thought, and I talked to the guy at the bank and he's like, well, your money should go back to your card. So I waited. One day, didn't go. 2 days. Then I asked the bank what was happening, and then I got with the bank and it was just this thing. And literally, I had to force the issue to get my money. And this happened. It took like 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks to get my money. Whereas if I had used a credit card to do a cash advance, it'd been like that. It'd been no issues. So typically, if something funky happens using your debit card, you don't have the speed nor the customer service of a credit card. You just don't. So let's just say I was broke Dick Danny and I needed that $1,000 like that day. And let's say I needed to pay my mortgage. I would have had to pay a late fee because money that I had, I couldn't access because of the instrument that I used. There's a lot of people who are paying late fees because they got money. And this is something that used to piss me off on my job. Like, you know, back in the day, I was poor. I couldn't pay my rent on time a few times and I had to pay the late fee. And the thing that really pissed me off, I had the money earned, I just couldn't access it. That was one of the things that drove me crazy as an employee. So typically using debit cards, you can have your money tied up and more than likely you'll get it. But what if you need it now and you can't get it? So that's one of the things. So cash back, points. I've got another client who spends about $100,000 a month on products using the credit cards. That's mad trips. That's a lot of points. A lot of points. Let's see, Keith Beecham, trying to tell folks, including business partners, that empty storefront around you are not going to reduce rates because of tax loss benefits. They don't get it. You can't tell people who've never been in this kind of stuff. The reason I know about the estate thing was I dogged my landlord about it. The real estate trust, and he, you know, he was paying rent, right? And I was holding on the check, and I was just like, and he said, okay. You come to the house and we'll talk about it, right? So I go to this house, and we sit in the living room. He just lays it all out for me. And if I was not a business person and I hadn't noticed that I was making my rent check out to a trust, I wouldn't know this. I wouldn't know this stuff because that's what the exposure starting a business does for you. So, you know, Keith, you can't talk to those people because they'll think you're, I think even said on this channel that the reason he wasn't releasing his tax returns because he's paid no taxes. I knew this. And the reason I knew this is I knew how he did it. And he ain't going to jail. He might get audited and have to pay money. That's kind of like the worst that's going to happen. But let's just say he got audited, but he used that tax savings and put it in another business and made like 8 million. Then he had to pay like 500,000 in back taxes. When big ass when. I'm telling you, that's why people like, you know, marching in the streets, oh, Trump, and crying on college campuses. I was like, okay, y'all really don't understand how the United States of America is in the corporation, and in the corporation, you need to act corporate to win. So yeah, you're right, Keith. Gary Sims, Sky Mile Points, Pauline Ogilvy, CC, free hotel and free flights. Here's some with American Express. Silver, platinum. People bitch about the fee. Okay. Then you have to have money for this to work. But do you know that if you have a business, American Express, platinum, and you buy a first class ticket, you pay full boat, no discount, you get a free companion ticket. So if you're going to, let's just say you're going to take 2 trips abroad a year, right? Business trips or not, and you buy 2 tickets. Let's say your tickets are 2,500. You know, you're going to Germany or somewhere, maybe $4 grand. You get another ticket. So subtract that $450 fee from that other free ticket, and you're still like 3 G's ahead. They've been doing that for years. But see, most people are so pressed they can't take advantage of that benefit. But if it's something you're going to do in the natural course of business, hello, big what? How do you think those cats were taking their secretaries and stuff on these trips with them? They weren't paying for it. We'll talk about that stuff in the course too. PayPal restricts your money for 21 days for new sellers. Actually, they don't do it for everybody. I'm gonna tell you something else too. This is another reason you need to have good credit. Back in the day, PayPal didn't check credit. They didn't give a fuck. Only until recently they started, you know, telling the Internal Revenue Service how much money you make, right? If you have a high credit score, PayPal doesn't do that to you. A lot of people don't know that. Now, if you get into some shit with eBay or you have too many returns, they'll do that regardless of your score. Cedric Ormain was looking for online, found something about how to become a bank. Basically, it has something to do with buying whole life insurance and putting most of your money into it. Any thoughts? Okay. You can't, the terminology is intentionally hustler porn to get you rassed up. I just told someone this other day, what you can do is buy an annuity. It's called an annuity. And let's say you right now you have $250,000, right? That you can throw in this annuity. And you go to one of the reputable insurance companies that sells these annuities, ones that's been around forever and ever. And you say, here's my $250 today. And I'm going to give it to you for, you know, I don't want any interest or nothing for, you know, 15 years, right? So at the end of 15 years in your mailbox, depending on how you set it up, you'll get a check for $250 until you die. So maybe that's what they're talking about. But once again, most people are so financially pressed, they can't take advantage of this stuff. So it's just like, you know, I know about it and it's real, but I have no money, which is why I keep saying, start a business, get the money, your business. And let's just keep it real, you know, with Fat Cat Profits here. Let's say you start a business and you were making 75 G's a year and your business does 100. Proper structured LLC, crossing all of your T's, dotting all of your I's, you can exit out of there with an additional 20 G's a year in your pocket legally that you couldn't with your job. You just couldn't. You could, yeah, you know, you couldn't. Now, I should have said 75 and 75. So that's the thing. But what we'll be talking about with Fat Cat Secrets is we'll get into deep, because the first section is going to be why should you do an LLC? About 2012, I almost lost this YouTube channel. And this was right around when they changed the rules. Because it used to be, if YouTube deleted your channel, they'll tell you, start another one. Now it is, if you lose your channel, if you have your channel in your name and you lose it, you can't open up anymore. Now, with that said, this channel has never been in my name. It was once in Conundrum Media when sold it to Hustlers Kung Fu. You can sell a YouTube channel. You can sell an eBay account. You can sell an Amazon account. I actually had to ask somebody about this. So selling your Amazon account, you can do that if the Amazon account is in the LLC. You sell the LLC and then you can sell the account. So that's another powerful thing of an LLC. Old Man Nutcakes, my business is an S Corp, was advised not to do an LLC in New York, and there was a partner involved as well. Let me tell you why you do an S Corp. S Corps don't pay taxes. They pay taxes on dividends. So you can create an S Corp, pay no taxes, form an LLC through that S Corp as the operating company, and just have all kinds of money. So yeah, that's a reason to do that. And you had a partner, and I'm quite sure you had assets. And was there a building or equipment involved? Should people be generating money in LLCs before but for creating an LLC. In Cali, LLCs get charged $800 a year regardless if they make a profit. Okay, there's the two things. The formation of LLC has nothing to do. Actually, in the state of New York, it does. Like if you expect to make a mill, they want like 2,000. Cali, this is a good point, Rod Sherlock. Every state is different. Georgia, it's $100 to form an LLC. It takes a day. If you do it early, it's done in a day. It may take 3 days. My thing on this channel has been and always will be start hustling, generate income before you start spending on stuff like that. So I've talked about that many, many times. Was advised not to do an LLC in New York because there's a headache and a lot of the protections an illusion. Let me tell you why the protection is an illusion. There's the vast majority of LLCs don't have an operating agreement. Vast majority of LLCs don't have articles of incorporation. Now, what does that mean and how harmful is that? Let's say you get sued and your attorney and their attorney is really, really smart and they go to your corp and it's like, oh, you have no operating agreement. Oh, you have no articles of incorporation. Oh, you're a single member LLC. Hold on, I don't even have my knife. Actually, I do have something. Pop that corporate veil like a mofo because it's not properly structured or set up. So yeah. I ain't even Roman. I'm not even going there with you. I'm not even going there with you. No. I have no advice for you on that. I am not even going to repeat that because that is crazy. A lot of people have gone to jail for that kind of stuff. So it's just, no. We're not doing that. So those are just some of the things. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So let's talk about money. As Rod Share Live had put in that it is $800 in California. Once again, start at the Secretary of State for your state. They should have all the fees and processes. Now, this is the thing. When you Google whatever state, there are many companies who create LLCs and they've got it set where you'll go to them. You'll go to their site and you're thinking you're on your state's LLC site. No. Go to your city, your government website of whatever state you live in. Go to that Secretary of State. It should be some.gov and just poke around and see what everything you have to do. Let's see. Single person LLC is bad. If you don't file the proper forms, you will be taxed at 55%. You think being taxed at 55% is good? Go ahead and do that. Thinking of starting a partnership to operate a resale warehouse. Hey, that's on you. There's a lot that goes with that. You've got a building involved. I would suggest that you go out and speak to a real estate attorney and a CPA about your situation. Because when you start operating buildings and you have people, whether you have the public come in there or not, and you have folks poking around, someone gets hurt. And once again, it just depends on what kind of attorneys they get and how they come in. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's how that stuff goes. So we will be talking about that in the course and a lot more. We will be talking about business credit, which is different. I'm actually helping 3 people set up their business credit. I'm actually telling them the same things. I'll put that stuff in the course. You just won't get to talk to me about it on the phone for an hour, but you'll get the information so you can do it on your own. And I'll make it real simple because here's the thing. What's going to happen in the next 4 years? I am reading this stuff. I am reading the appointments, and I don't know if it's still on my board. Let me see. Let me go in here. Indiana gives $7 million in tax breaks to keep carriers' jobs. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's see. Where is it? Nope, it's nothing in there. But essentially how Trump has established the wealthiest cabinet in history. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I talking about that? The rules that keep rich people rich are not going to change. So you got a choice here, my friends. You can work on becoming rich and using these rules and legal instruments and devices for your own benefit, or you could just stay out there and, oh, I'm getting fucked. They're not changing these rules. They're not changing them. So, and what's going to happen is these rules are going to become even more favorable. I would not be surprised if the estate tax disappears in the next 4 years. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to benefit people who are starting businesses, because that's, I'm telling you, this cabinet, I don't think there's going to be the radical change he promised. I think it's going to be business as normal, which is good if you have a business. I got a C Corp. I always thought creating an LLC was better as a single owner. Once again, let's just talk about this. S Corp, C Corp, LLC, all of this stuff is dependent upon what you're doing, what your future goals. When you get down and sit down with a financial professional, you're going to ask you, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Who's going to be, how many members? Are your kids in? There's a lot of questions. So there is no one single solution to everybody. I mean, it just really depends on what you're doing. Erica Wilson, thinking about starting a thumbtack like website. Should I do an LLC for this online entity? Okay, depends on what you want to do. I was reading this article about fake news, and they couldn't find who the owner was because of the way that sucker was straight up. But you don't have to do an LLC to have anonymity with your website owner. But just to think about it, Jeff M., I need to get my LLC before I hustle for construction work. In New Jersey, I need a contractor licensed to build to get permits. I can't get leads off Angie List or others until I have insurance. That's another thing. Certain things will require you to have an LLC and will require you to have a business license in some states. You have no choice. Rugged College have formed 3 LLCs and S Corps. The lawyers and the CPAs don't understand why. They say I should have had all of it under one same thing. Really depends on what you're doing. Like, let me go ahead and give you the S Corp LLC thing. Let's say you own a building, right? Let's say you have a company. We'll call it Company X. Company X owns a building and heavy industrial equipment and a bunch of vehicles, right? So you'll have this S Corp as the holding company. Then you will have the building in one LLC, and you will have the trucks in one LLC, and you will have the machinery in another LLC, and then you have a fancy attorney, a CPA, to put it all together, where this LLC is renting stuff from this LLC for $1 or whatever. And it's all legal, even though this is all your stuff, and making money. So it just depends upon structure. It depends upon how big, and like Rugged College, this is one of the reasons I'm doing this course. So I can answer these questions, because typically when I do these videos, straight up, this is lead generation. This is called inbound marketing. So I give you good information that you can use and put into play, but I don't give you the nuance and the details that are to your particular situation, since I don't know how many people watch the channel this year. Everybody's got a different walk of life. Everyone has a different level of money. Everyone has different dreams and ambitions. So everything's going to be different. Melissa, I'm lucky the coin shop dude and the storage please managers like me. So I do have some role models in town to ask for help, because y'all are, yeah, I mean, every state is different. It's just different because, like, you know, years ago, I thought I could do the Wyoming thing, and then when I found out about the foreign demand, it just kills it. I mean, a lot of the stuff you could get away with, I mean, they've changed all the rules. So it just really depends on what your situation is, what you're doing, how you got your stuff set up. So it just depends. And one of the things that we're going to do in Fat Cat Secrets is this. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put in the first part, because, you know, I already tell you, your first part is you have to go to your state's Secretary of State and research your laws. because you can't go on to like a lot of these blogs. You'll go ahead and Google LLC in the state of Kentucky, right? And you'll go to this blog and it will give you all of this basic blah generic bullshit that may not even apply to Kentucky. They go ahead, what they do is they go ahead and they put this stuff there and they use SEO, get it ranked, and run ads on it. They're not, I mean, it's just a lot of that shit is not helpful at all. And then Google's working on that because it's just like they just want to get you there so they can get you the impressions to get that ad money. It doesn't really tell you what they need to do, which is weird, but a lot of people don't know that they can go to their Secretary of State, whatever state you live in, and then they're going to lay it all out. And most of them now you can do it online. So if you do something wrong, they're going to tell you this is wrong and we can't process it because of this, and you need to do this. But I should tell you, when you do stuff wrong, it's going to cost you more money. So I'm just letting you know. Jeff MG, thanks for your help. Gotta go. Thanks for your help tonight. You're the best. Sure thing, Jeff. Welcome to the stream. Dora Anji, you need to assess the laws of each jurisdiction and figure out how to use them to your advantage. Pretty much. Should every LLC register with DMB? All right, here's the thing. All right, and this is where we're going to talk about business credit. You go out and you get some of proper lines of business credit. They're going to create your DNB profile. All that stuff when you call DMB and they be trying to sell you these big packages. And I mean, they are some bitches because they will block your shit or not give you access until you pay. But you get the right lines of credit, they create it for you. And as long as you're not late on anything, you get a Paydex. And there's DMB, there's Experian, there's all of them have business databases. There's, because everyone thinks there's like the big 3 credit bureaus. There's like fucking 25 credit bureaus. Alexis, Nexus, Lexus. There's so many of them, and they're owned and operate. It's just like all of this information about you that you can't access without paying money. Details are extremely important. That's why, you can't just say, hey, do this LLC and everybody do the same way and it's going to work. Somebody can do this information put a certain way and it'll be fine. Someone else, it will pierce the corporate veil. Like, this is how a lot of attorneys get around that stuff because the LLC wasn't set up right. There's no articles of incorporation. There's no operating agreement. Just so many things that it really offers no protection if you don't set it up correctly. None, zero, zilch. If you get in trouble, like, it looks good. It's kind of like a car that can do this fine long as you do 55 miles an hour. But the minute you do 60, shit starts falling apart. That's kind of like some of these LLCs. Until they're exposed, they look great. They look wonderful. So just really depends. And we'll talk about that in Fat Cat Profits. Some more stuff is coming. More stuff. And just for those it's not under here since there's only the link. It's under other videos. If you want to be notified of the live streams, get on this email list. I'm probably going to start using it exclusively in a few days or weeks, just depending on how it shapes up. And you want to get on that because the better deals, the best stuff happens live. It's just people like that. That's funny. And this is all I do. This is the biz. I mean, I don't deal with traffic. I don't have crazy employees. I don't have crazy coworkers. My stress level for the most part is pretty damn low. Martial law. Damn. I'm 23, working 2 jobs, but want to increase productivity and have a side hustle. And to have a side hustle, I don't know where you're going with that. Yeah, this is the new thing. 1 live stream a day. The morning stream is going to happen, and the evening streams are optional. So once I get really consistent with it, I'll probably put a time on it. But get on the list if you don't want to miss anything. New videos, and I'm going to email the old list for a while until that list populates. But yeah, I'm doing live stream. And I'll even tell you why I'm doing live stream, because there doesn't seem to be any video folks here, which is cool. But YouTube has changed, if you haven't noticed. A lot of people are losing views. A lot of people are losing subscribers for the last 3 months. Every time I put a video, I lose subscribers. My view rate has gone like way down. And I know why. And this is to counteract it, because Facebook is kicking YouTube's ass with live streaming. So YouTube has to enhance these live streams. They have no choice whether they want to or not. And I can already see the difference. People can get hurt if they're sloppy in the way they set things up. Big time, easily. Knowledge Pearl, lost you, found you. I don't know what you mean by that. Not really sure on that. Purpose Pit, do you recommend getting an LLC before your business is profitable? I'm based in California and the costs are higher for an LLC. Okay, someone put in there that it's like 800 bucks. Okay, here's a fundamental truth for you. That $800 is tax deductible because it's a business expense. So it's not really 800 bucks. This is my recommendation for everyone. Start a hustle, start making some money, set up as soon as you can get the money from the proceeds of the business, get your LLC, set up your business checking accounts. So whenever you get to that amount of money, now, if you're like hustling and all your money goes to pay your living expenses, you're going to have to hustle much, much harder, because you got to do that. Because see, this is the thing. In these United States of America, these corporate United States of America, we have some things that are happening. Article came out. Matter of fact, I've talked about it this morning. 31% of millennials live with their parents. This has never happened before. 51% of Americans make less than 30 grand a year. Let me say that again. 51% of Americans make less than $30,000 a year. This is going to get worse. And this isn't me saying some shit to sell courses. This is some stuff I've talked about for years. And the trend is going the way that I said it. We don't need manual labor for a lot of things. We don't need manufacturing people for a lot of things. So a lot of jobs are service jobs and they pay bullshit money. That's not going to change. So you can put on your big girl panties, your big boy panties, go out there, build a business, work your ass off, and make something of yourself in these United States of America, because you got two choices. You're going to be the shepherd or you're going to be the sheep. So pick your side. Come on, little sheep. Come on. Come on. Let's go over here. Come on. Come on. Pick your side. Let's see what we got in here. Oh. I'm glad I dropped by for the live stream. AG LLC escort for my tree business. Whoa. Flores, you need to take the course, man. You're going to be, let me get this straight. You're going to have a tree trimming service. My last house before this one, there was this dead tree in the front yard. I don't even know if I got pictures. I was in the living room when they cut the middle section and it hit the ground, and that shit shook the house. That is very dangerous. You would be crazy not to have an LLC. And once again, it depends upon how much capital you have. It really depends on what you're doing, where you are. There's a lot of questions. So it's not like, hey, I'm doing the tree service, should be. It just really depends upon your situation. So hustle, save, LLC, pretty much. Let's see. I agree. I don't want to live with my parents anymore. I'm like, there's this show. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find it. We'll see. Probably the Waltons. Y'all think I'm kidding. Let's see. Are there any videos? Hold on, I might have to turn the volume up. Let's see, there are any videos? Hold on, I might have to turn the volume up. Let's see, there are any videos? Hold on, I might have to turn the volume up. Let's see, there are any videos? All of them live in the same damn house. You got mom, dad, like 9 kids, and the grandparents. That's coming back to America. That was in America. That's how people used to live. That was that's reality. So this is what's going to happen to these 31% of millennials who are living at home with mom and dad. Then mom and dad's parents are going to move in too. So you're going to have these extended families, like 3 generations under one roof, not because they like each other, because nobody's got any damn money. So if you don't want to be in that situation, you need to take action, and take action very fast. Yep. Melissa, pretty sure no one wants to work hard. I see it all the time. They say too much work. I heard a lot of people starting LLCs based in Delaware. Shouldn't people only create LLCs in the states they live in? No, what you see, this is misinformation. Delaware has what's called a business court, and you have a lot of corporations, C corporations, multi-billion-dollar corporations organized in Delaware. LLCs in Delaware don't do shit unless you got the proper structure, because the minute you open up a bank account, the banks like Chase is the hardest, Wells Fargo, they're all cracking down. Some banks have lost their ability to open up business accounts because they weren't following the rules. So yeah, that ain't gonna work. That's misinformation. Because if you try to do business in another state other than Delaware, you're gonna have to register as a foreign domain. And the reason these big C corporations do this is because of the favorable business law. So if you sue them, you have to sue them there. That's it. I mean, that's a whole different game. V. Branson, can you point me to where it was said? Hold on a second, because some people don't believe me. Years ago, when I said that most people in the United States were poor, 85% of the people in the world were poor, people were like, oh, no. I'm like, okay, sure. Hold on, because I know you don't believe me. Let's see. And let's see. Let's go screen share. And get rid of you. Go away. Goodbye, middle class. Let's see, present to everybody. Goodbye, middle class. 51% of all American workers make less than $30,000 a year. And if you don't believe this place, go ahead and do your standard research. 38% of American workers make less than $20,000. 51% make less than 30,000, 62% make less than 40 G's, and 71% make less than 50. I've been saying this for years. And this is why people are so price sensitive. I mean, okay, let's prove this using deductive reasoning. Why do people like low prices? Because they don't have any damn money. Walmart, biggest company in the world. How did they make it there? Low prices, because they know that's a big segment of the population. Martial Law, you said your last video was good. You said the struggle is part of what makes you who you are. Yeah, and there's gonna be some struggle. Like, y'all think I'm kidding about those Waltons? There was like 12 people in that house. That's how most of America lived. Now, early 1900s, you had to have a mess of kids. The farm, to operate that farm was about survival. Let's see. Whoa. 51% on the third. Yeah. No, evening streams are optional. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but the day stream happens in the morning. Done it. I'm a fat cat. Is it a good idea to flip food out of my car without the LLC effect, just temporary? That's called illegal hustling, and you're selling food without being properly registered. Your ass could go to jail. Just saying. Yeah, you're still going no access. You're flirting with fire on that one. I'm just saying. Is it best to hire a lawyer for an LLC setup or do it myself? I'm a licensed massage therapist in New York City. My startup cost you $2K. Do you have the knowledge to do it yourself? I mean, you got to do some research. Go to the Secretary of State of New York and spend a week or two reading about that. Fatima J, thanks for all your help. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Canada. I'm not even going to try to pretend to be a Canadian business person. Shalisa, I remember that show where everyone said good night to everybody. Y'all think I'm kidding about the Waltons. There are some of you who are listening to this stream or will listen to it in the future, and your kids are living with you right now, and your parents will be living with you, and y'all be saying good night to everybody. You and your wife be fucking real quiet, like, I want my mama to hit me. I want my mama to hit me. Oh, that's coming. Let's see. We'll see. Screw that. I'd rather live in LA in a car. Also, gee, I'm always hustling. Will the courses be available when I get some time or they're live? No, the courses will be self-paced. I'll have like a broadcast, like I'll have a live going over the training, but everything will be self-paced. Purpose Pit. Thanks, Glendon. CA is a stew Satan. I'm paranoid. It's very expensive to do business in California. I mean, it just is. Sure thing, martial law. That Shalice, that's depressing, Thomas. Damn. So the deal ends Friday sometime. I like 24, maybe a little bit earlier. I mean later. So A Green, so the majority of Americans need to hustle. Hell yes. Knowledge is power. Damn, I think the borderline is home and delivery. Windows Wood Street, I know I have the proper business structure. It's important. When is it better to change from an LLC to an S Corp? Ooh, good question. You don't do that. All right. Pick what you want to do initially, because it's a lot of bullshit to switch it around. Because essentially, right, when you form a corporation, it's an entity. Now, with that being said, you can form an LLC and sell it. Switching it, that's going to be a pain in the ass, because you just can't like switch them. You can't do that. Not to my knowledge. Virtual input, should I have an LLC for a publishing company? Depends. You making money, you get expenses, you have exposure. There's a lot of ways to work it. We'll cover it in the course. I don't have Purpose Pit. I don't have a course like that. But I'm going to read that. Glendon, do you have a course on protecting your online identity? How do you remove your public records or info online? Okay. I have no course, but I can tell you what I know. You just can't do shit online. I mean, you can't fill out credit card. I mean, there's no such thing as secrecy anymore. That shit's gone. Only people who have secrecy are like older folks who never really messed around online, and you just like you Google them, you can't find shit. I mean, this is really interesting. T3 Divine Healing, the advantage of having multiple generation living for some families, that's how family businesses get started. I would agree, and a lot of immigrants work that way, but the stuff that's coming to America is not to do that. These people would be moving in together to survive because nobody has any money. Ran a food truck in DC area, North VA, couldn't get the truck license, so an informal route grew into a formal weekly route, going into homes and businesses. If a neighbor showed up, oh well. Knowledge is power. The stream's very intimate. Glendon, I'm interested in your products more than I've ever been now. Just slang this illegal pizza and get over with you. Michael Sneed, have family and several friends with MBAs already living like the Waltons. They had to move with their parents, with their spouses and kids. Did I not predict this? I've said this for years. It's a lot of people don't make as much money as you think. Yeah, that's the reality. We'll see if this stream clears up because it looks pretty janky right now, but we will find out. Typically it clears up. Okay, so this is the deal. Fat Cat Secrets, how LLCs work, make your bank. Fat Cat Secrets, how LLCs make you bank. Stuff your lawyer will never tell you. It's going to be a beta course. It's probably going to run like 6 weeks. You'll get a module every week, and there'll be a few live sessions. So, and you know, it could expand, but it's going to be way more expensive. So with that, links under the video, be sure to share this, grab your deal, and let's see, where are we?